tell a joke. I can. All right, so I'm accessing memory banks. Hopefully I go all the way through with this one. So as you know, in years past, even me at Fanfest, I've had a driver, and I really thanked him. He always asked to do it, and I was very grateful for what he did. But Pope Francis, he can't drive no more because he's the freaking Pope. And so he always has a driver. And so Francis told the driver, they was in the United States, and they had a really nice limo. And he was driving on the East Coast from a southern city to a northern city, and he told the driver, pull over. So he pulled over, and he said, open the door. Driver's upset. Why am I opening the door for the Pope? Well, you have to pee on the side of the road? So the driver said, what's going on? He says, can you please, no one's around, there's no escorts. I just want to drive. I love driving. And I haven't driven in years. So the driver's like, no, I can't do that. He says, I command it. So the driver got in the back seat, and the Pope got in the front seat, and he started driving away. And as he's driving down the road, he just pressed the gas pedal. He was hauling 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, 110 miles an hour. And then the blue and red lights flashed in the mirror. So he pulled the Pope over, and the cop gets out, walks up to the window, looks in the window. Oh, wait a minute. You rang?
Yes.
Come on in. So the cop looks in the window and he goes, uh-oh. He goes back to the car, doesn't say a thing to them, picks up the mic. He says, yeah, headquarters, this is car 32. Do you have a diplomatic contact team? They're like, yes, we do. Yeah, you better roll the diplomatic contact team out right now. He's like, well, who's the diplomatic contact? I said, I have no effing idea, but his chauffeur is the Pope. All right, I guess the time is hit. I get a backstage thumbs up. Hi. All right, I just, sorry. All right, I gotta do this. Oh wait, I should get this guy to do it. Take my picture with everyone. There we go. Thumbs up. Or down, I don't care. All right, cool. Send that to me on Twitter, okay? All right, folks, thanks a lot. There I am. Yeah, so I do work for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I've helped put remote vehicles on Mars, have my name on 5 asteroids I helped discover. And my current job right now is I'm a lessons learned investigator. And I wrote a paper about the lessons we learned on the Mars rover wheels. And you can go to the NASA website, look up NASA wheelware. You'll find my paper up there. But I'm not here as a NASA employee. I'm here as an EVE player, as a private citizen. So thank you very much. This is literally maybe my 9th talk. The others are on YouTube as well. I don't have a script. I don't even have PowerPoint notes. So if I screw this up, you're along for the ride. Some of you know I did not choose to be the Space Pope, but I screwed up when I dressed up by the name you called me. So now it can't be undone. So, and quite honestly, I don't want it to. I started playing in 2008, and playing EVEOnline for 15 years has transformed me. It has changed me, and it's changed others as well. And that's the story I want to tell of 3 people and myself, of someone you may know, Reload from YouTube. Can I see hands of who knows Reload? Cool, yeah, quite a few. Rick's Javix. Do you know Rick's Javix? Can you stand for a second? Rick's? And I guarantee I'm not going to cry, but I'm probably going to have to pay all of you when I do. Julia, can you stand for a second? So I'm going to talk about Julia. All right, I'm going to have to go pretty fast because we've got a lot of slides to get through, and they told me I only have a limited amount of time left, so here we go. We all start out the same, and in my day, the CEO stood up on a Fanfest stage and said, here's a ship, F you. Today, it's not all that different. We download the client. We pick our in-game race that we want to be. I have a surprise about me. We choose our name, and then today, we're thrown into a battle in the new player experience. But this was the new player experience back then. In EVE, you have choices. How many choices do you have? Well, there's 4 main choices. But it comes down to this. Yeah, CCP can advertise, oh, you can do this and do that. No, this is really it. Yeah, this was done by a player, not CCP. So is there anybody from CCP in the house? Yes, we are unsupervised. They say you can't do it all, but yes, we can. We totally can. And they allow it because, hey, subscription, right? So that's pretty good. So these are the 4 levels that you can do: PvP, PvE, industry, and community. So those are the 4 top levels. Everything else is derivative from there. There's another choice you can make. The other choice is you can play solo, which some people attempt to do. Some people sort of do it. How many here are solo players? I see all 5 of you, yeah. And how many are team players with a corp or an org? Yes, I see 99% of you. All right, there you go. EVE is really a social game, and it is part of the... But if you want to be Han Solo, putting yourself in a locker against the umpire, good luck. It is possible to do that. When you team up, you can meet people, and the way to meet people is being a PvP killer and then telling your person how they died. You could be a PvP victim and say, what did you do that for? And they'll tell you how you died. And you can actually become friends by killing each other. What? It's really weird. You can go to chat forums. There's like lore panels. There are people who play EVEOnline or EVE offline. And they join the forums and they do lore stuff and they don't even log in at all. Matter of fact, how many here have actually won EVE and have quit? There's people here at EVE that have actually stopped playing the game. There's also real life contacts. As you know, we all like to dress up. There's Sancta and it's Stuart and Rhiannon, the co-founder of the Sixth Empire up there as well. So relations are fostered, and CCP actually did a study in why are people hanging out together? And part of it, and you can apply this to your real life. This really works. It's proximity. How close are you to your friends? Well, through the internet, you can be in Japan. So that doesn't apply to us so much. But in real life, it does. There's frequency. How often do you meet and have a beer or a soda or a water? Call your friends. You haven't called them in a long time, and they feel bad. So call them. Duration. How long are you hanging out together? And of course, the intensity of the engagement. There was actually a study done in Japan where they have this bridge that spans a chasm, and it's really scary. And they put a very attractive man and a woman on the bridge, and then they put a very attractive man and woman on the safe path. And they had an experiment where they would actually engage with strangers socially. There was more interaction on the scary bridge than there was on the not so scary bridge. True story. So basically, in EVE, this is kind of the thing. Okay, sound room, this has audio, turn it up.
I've met a lot of people from all across the world.
Flying with the same guys for almost 10 years.
such an amazing bunch of people.
That's my favorite part of the game.
Basically the crew, all the good lads.
You may want to hit your brother, knock him around a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're all a bunch of brothers and sisters.
It's this amazing group of friends.
It's a passion for everyone that I play with.
The friends you make, it's the people. The people are awesome.
Love the people that play the game.
So what did you hear there? What you heard was all around the world. That's the proximity. The flying with the same guys for 10 years, that's the frequency. The passion, that's the intensity. You also heard the good lads, amazing friends, brothers and sisters. I gave you a guarantee, I'm not gonna cry. Love the people that play the game because it is the people. It is all about the people. That's why I take a selfie of me with all of you, because I'm 63, I don't have a lot of time left, but I treasure every moment that I'm with you guys. So that's my introduction to my talk. I'm kind of known for really stupid long introductions, and so that's a long introduction. So now let's talk about what I've actually came here to talk about. I've come up with a term I've called Eve transformation, and it's the profound and often positive change in an individual's life, beliefs or behaviors as a direct result of interactions, experiences, and relationships fostered when EVEOnline gaming community. It encompasses the shift from facing personal adversaries and isolation to finding solace, support, and actionable solutions throughout virtual engagement that transcend the game's digital boundaries into real-world impacts. Is that a good definition? So let's talk about this transformation. And the first person I'd like to talk about is someone I got to know, and someone I think you can all relate to. And it was a surprise to me because I did send out a call back in April that said, please send me your stories. So those of you who sent me the many stories, thank you for your contribution. I had to limit my slides because I only have 35 minutes left and I don't know if I can do this, but here we go. So the first person is Reload from YouTube, and he was an EVE player. And for him, playing EVE was overcoming his social anxiety. He developed communication skills, learning video and media production, and gaining confidence, the global community and his real-life friendships, the career advancement, and the long-lasting influence. So let's take a deeper dive in how this happened. So you may relate. Matter of fact, when I was in the line to get my badge, I met someone who says, I have social anxieties. I have a hard time talking to people. And I said, no worries. Come to my talk. If you're in here, welcome. But you may relate because many players have similar feelings. So for some reason, this game does attract a lot of people who are on the autistic spectrum, and that's okay. That's kind of cool. That's one of our powers. That it's our superpower for some of us who play this game. I myself have some issues in that regard. And it was a personal challenge for him. He felt hindered in a significant social anxiety. And it allowed him some self-discovery for his strength and his weakness. And in the blue, this is what the game is. The platform just naturally allows us to see these things. So he ventured into whole new realms he wasn't even aware of by blogging. Then he started doing videos and skills. And then unexpected success. He had no idea because it was affirming. And what do I mean by affirming feedback? It was his customers on YouTube started writing him and saying, good videos. He has made 523 YouTube videos about how to play EVE. So if you get a chance, look up Reload EVEOnline. Some of his videos are still, even though 9 years old, some of the videos still actually did well. So, oh, thank you, back room. I just saw the message. Didn't know you can do that. They're sending me secret notes under the table. That's really cool. Confronting personal challenges, this was his facing his fears. And this is key, EVE as therapy. Amazing. growing his confidence and tangible benefits, it transformed him. Eric's transformation was awesome because he went from shy to the actual spotlight. He was the host on the EVE Stream Fleet, and he actually was a co-host on EVE TV. So what a transformation from being someone who was socially disabled in his terms to being out front in front of everybody. And he had his community connections. And so again, this is more than a game. It's not only enriched the digital experience, but it fostered real world personal growth and influence. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about someone who's gone through the ringer, someone who had a very, very hard time. And most of you all know him, and that's our friend Brian Ward, or Rick's Javix. In Rick's story, he sent me the in-depth story that many of you may not know. So thus, I'm totally outing you here with his permission. Eve provided a constant vehicle for him during times of enormous change. The community supported him when he was down. And it was kind of career saving in a way. And it inspired him to give back to the EVE community. And in Brian, it created a sense of purpose, long-term engagement and joy, according to his words. And so what happened to him was he had a company that was worth about $200 million. And he had a lot of colleagues that he made friends with, and he had to lay them off. There were legal problems as well with the company, and things were mounting with the company, and then for better or worse, the worst left him in a divorce. Accurate? Yeah, okay. You're free to correct me at any time. They repossessed his cars, and legal fees were mounting. And the thing that he needed the most, where his whole life was centered around, was his computer. It had an EVE art, his employee records, his business records, his divorce records, everything on it had crashed. And so now he was down and out. Everything was gone. And then he met new people, and he started to rebuild his life, so he had a new phone. So let's go into your story. All right. So again, there was his computer crashed, and there was a EVE fundraiser made for him, and he needed like $3,500 to get a new computer, and that was met in 24 hours. Your generosity, I'll talk about later, but that's part of our community. So the GoFundMe was successful, and Brian was very thankful about this. It really floored him in a time when he was being hit by crap and more crap, but P.S., there was more crap. All of a sudden, his faith in killers was restored. So again, it's more to the game. It's a testament to our interconnective, but it's also a testament to our generosity to help a player when they've been kicked and down. And so being naturally gifted in the arts, I asked him via Facebook, I said, what's the most expensive item you've sold at auction or commission? And this is the actual text. He wrote me back, says probably $7,500 for a private commission I did for an EVE player who runs his own company. It's a large piece that no one has seen. One, of course, those who visit his private office, and $5,000 for 3 pieces, and the rest are various under that. I said, can I feature these 3 pieces? And by the way, this is one of my most favorite ones you've done. This is my personal favorite. But yeah, so this is one of 3 that sold for $5,000. The Typhoon, the Vagabond, and my favorite, for obvious reasons. Although I do like the shark bite, the shark bite Army Apocalypse is one of my favorites. And then this one individually sold for $2,500. So the question is, why would you pay so much money for this? Well, the answer is simple. Why do you even buy art? Why do you buy something that gives you pleasure or joy? And then I can ask you, why did you pay to come here? Is there any CCP in the room? No, we're unsupervised? Why did we come here? It's a goddamn... It's a giant company advertising. We are stuck in an infomercial for the next 3 days. Because we love it and because of the experience. And that's why somebody looked at Brian's art and says, I want that. And Brian gave him a price. But if you don't know this, look up Rick's Javix comics. They're still on the network. And you got to get back to producing these because these crack me up like this one. Why haven't you killed me? Shut up, my mom's home. And then he even did me. A couple of Funko Pops, and a Rifter, and a couple others. And quite honestly, this is very touching because I haven't told you this story. An EVE player did a video of his little girl coloring this, and then they sent me a photo of the coloring of this little girl, and I'm like, I'm not gonna cry, not gonna cry, not gonna cry. And then he had in-person events at his house, where he actually have Steel City EVE meets. And I think 5 that he held there. And he's also done in-game events where he's just given away in-game free ships, the Frigate Free-for-All, and EVE Agenda paper, and so much more. Again, it's more than just a game. EVEOnline helped Brian through very hard times. It developed his official artwork that we see today, and I can say I'm one of your fans. So, congrats to you. Okay, this one, I'm not gonna cry, and you better not cry too. I'm not crying, you're crying. All right, next up is Julia. And Julia's story is very interesting because she was basically told by her brain surgeon, you have 6 months to live. And in-game connections led to some real world. She played EVE for pain management during her 6 months to live. And something happened after a surgery. She had some recovery support and then an academic achievement. So let's get into her story a little more. So the challenge for Julia was she was diagnosed with an inoperable, that's the key word, inoperable brain tumor. And she joined this corporation and she told them I have 6 months to live. And the players basically, consoled her and said, well, we're here for you. And she became part of an online family. And even her husband joined at the same time too. She joined a corporation called Blueprint House. And that's their logo there. And you can see these are the actual pictures she sent me of her brain tumor in her head. Well, in that corporation that she just joined, she talked to a capsuleer called Strolling Astronomer. And he said, that's baloney. We can operate on that. That's not inoperable. Go see my neurosurgeon. He's 900 kilometers away because she's from Australia. So technically in Australia, 900 kilometers is not that far. She went there and she had the inoperable surgery was operated on by this doctor. And her memory is a little still affected and impacted. And the time away from EVE, while she was getting back playing EVE actually helped her reestablish her neural connections and actually helped her play her game. And so it was a renewal that the game helped with the reconnection also of the friends. I still like this picture. It looks very EVEOnline. This looks like one of the implants you can get CCP to make for you. But this was the turnaround. This was 9 years ago, 12 years ago from the surgery. And she's alive today because of advice in Eve and helping to play the game. So post-surgery continue, but there's still strong support from her corporation and all of us. She's determined to recover by pursuing higher education. And she did achieve her bachelor's of psychology and science degrees. She's published several papers, and she continues to come. I met her in Vegas, and she came up to me and she told me her story. And Hilmar was walking by, and I grabbed Hilmar by the shirt and I said, "Stop, stop, stop, stop." I said, "Julia, tell your story." And he was like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." And so, everyone, please welcome Julia Roberts. I'm not crying, you're crying. So we actually have an announcement we would like to make. It's a personal announcement, your own journey, and tell us all.
So the day before we left to come to Fanfest, I submitted my application to undertake a PhD.
You're crying, I'm not crying. All right, so next up, I said there'd be 4 players, so I'm going to be the 4th victim up here. I do want to tell you my story. People know me as the co-founder of the 6th Empire. This is my 6th time to Iceland. If I come one more, it'll be the 7th, and so everything will be out of whack. So this may be my last time to Iceland. So I do want to tell you a little bit about my story, just in case that ever happens. So believe it or not, I may role play the Samarian, but I was born Kaldari. I started in 2008 with, I'm not going to tell you his name because I can log in with that guy and nobody bugs me. So it's kind of, but that's the guy in red. You can do an image lookup. Haha, good luck with that. I always had an interest in Amarian ships because I was flying around in asymmetrical Scorpions, and I was like, I really wish it was symmetrical. And then when they were symmetrical, I was like, I want my asymmetrical Scorpion back. Can CCP, can we make Eve classic and just put a new skin on? That'd be cool. So I created Max Singularity in March of 2009 as an alt. And I started role-playing him. I even catfished my own corp. So I had him come in, and they were like, "Hey, Max, get on comms." He goes, "No, my kids and wife don't want me to do comms." So I would chat with them, and my brother was like, "Oh man, that Max guy is really cool." And a year later, I outed myself. I'm like, "I'm really Max." And they're like, "BS, yeah, bullshit. Max is cool, you're an ass." One of our members who lives in Alaska, he actually quit in madness for a year, and it was like a year later, I was like, "Are we still friends?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever." So that's a little bit part of it. But I did not make myself the Space Pope. I was trolled. Somebody made a meme that said, using my face, "Do you know who I am? I'm the effing Space Pope of New Eden." And I was like, that's funny. There was a cosplay contest, and I already had my costume as an admiral. And I can't so worth being, but I have a friend who really does, who works for Hollywood Studios. I said, "Can we make a Pope outfit real quick? Because it's a 3-day contest." He goes, "Yeah." So we put together multiple Pope outfits, and I showed up as the admiral. Everybody's like, "Oh, there's Max." On the second day, I showed up in my Pope costume. I've told that story otherwise about the the Iceland police, so I'm not going to tell it again. But I made it to the Harpa, and oh my God, everybody lost their mind. It's like, he is the Kwisatz Haderach. It can be undone in a heartbeat, but oh well, I'm not going to do it. One of my things, my gimmick back then was I read the Chronicles. And I read all the Chronicles, and I was like that guy, that meme where, you know, the making all the dots fixed. I figured out Jamel Sorum was illegally the empress of the Amar Empire. She actually killed the theology council. They didn't say she did it direct, but if you go back and read them, you'll see evidence that the theology council immediately disappeared just before she rose to power. It's like, that bitch. It's like, who is the only person who can launch an inquisition? The Pope. So in 2015, I was like, I have some new business. Jamel Sorum is a threat to the New Eden cluster and a heretic of the Amar Empire. Everybody was like, what? Yeah, that happened. So that was my role play beginning. And So when I did, CCP, I've been told this, CCP actually had long-term plans for Jamel. They actually had it where she was introducing new Stargates and that. But when I started this, CCP Falcon and CCP Seagull were very much into the role play, and Nick Bartley as well. They were like, let's play. And you'll see in the Eve documentary, they mention, we have changed because the players have launched things inside the game and we just ran with it. Well, this is one of the things they ran with. So they created a Jamel character. They undocked a Titan in the Safazon system. And she, supposedly, the story is, it was Falcon who was flying Jamel in Iceland. And I was flying my beloved Abaddon. And he targeted me. And he called out to the devs. He says, hey, I got Max targeted. Should I fire? And in unison, 8 devs went, no! There were no dev hacks in place to prevent Jamel Sorum from getting concorded. Take your best shot, Jamel. Fire. Yeah, no, they didn't. So this is how it started and this is how it ended. By the way, you can come visit her wreck in Safazon system. It's still there for all you to see. Titan fires take a long time to burn out. And as celebration of that, Siegel actually told me, as a result of all the role play and a result of all the player interactions, subscriptions actually went up. And it taught them a lesson to go with the flow of the players. And so it was really cool. And that winter, Eve used to give away free Christmas gifts. And one of the things, you can say either they trolled me or they gave thanks. I can't figure out which one. But they actually created an in-game thing called Maxamaria, because Paxamaria, these are the 3 fraudulent packs, Paxamaria, those are the Amar Bibles. But since I'm the Pope, they said I wrote a Maxamaria. It's available in all trade hubs. It's limited quantities. People actually buy it up, and those who hate me eject them from their ship and shoot them with lasers. So it's book burning. And those who love me just keep it for themselves. And because it's a limited quality, it costs more than a caracal right now, and it does absolutely nothing. Yes. Send me your kill mail with it, and I'll send you 10 ISK. I'm sorry? I can't hear. I can't understand. Yes. Nice, nice. Also, to be official in the 6th Empire Alliance, you have to carry some exotic dancers as well. So. My interaction with CCP has been kind of this handshake and so forth. And as some of you know, because I did work for NASA my mind was analytical, and Eve was kind of breaking for me because it was like, I have an Abaddon and its top speed is 230 miles an hour. That doesn't work in space. So a space anchor, what the hell is that? How do you anchor something in space? So I started for 5 years working on a physics model, and I came up with the power enhanced generator. And if you go and buy a copy of the Frigates of Eve, you can read chapter 8, where Max Singularity is now a part of canon, where he lectures to the military school of candidates who become capsuleers. And you can understand how physics works. But what was cool about that was not about me. What was cool was the company reaching out to me and interacting with us, as they've now done with Rick's now too. The company actually plays with us. They're players in a way, in a fair way. It's really kind of cool. So that happened. Oh yeah, and they also, the second in-game item was a damaged peg. So there's kind of 2 in-game items. I do have an Apostle in Amar, so it's me and Kriba that are there. What was kind of cool about this is it was an Archon carrier that was assembled with a triage model, and when that patch came over, all of a sudden it changed, and it was now an Apostle. So I undock this during holidays, especially New Year's and sometimes Christmas, and so if you're ever in Amar, please come and try to gank me, because I am tanked to hell. One guy launched 10 tornadoes against me, and it was like, blip. I've had a blast in Eve. I've really had so much fun. And there's a constant saying that's, I've had sovereignty. I was gifted Keepstar and Fortizars. They've all been taken away. They've all been snuffed out, I guess you could say. Motherfucker. No, that's how the game is played. So they were gifted. So it was kind of cool to see the interaction. They chose their time well because it was right during a war between all the Reds of Reds who said they would protect me. They would have all come together as a Purple Fleet, but they were at war with each other, and so this other corp was like, "Let's kick that sandbox down." And it was kind of fun. I sat there in the chair just laughing like you would not believe, just watching the shields of the Keepstar go down. So it was fun. I put the butterfly up there because there is a very old Eve video called The Butterfly Effect. How many remember that? Right. How am I not the living embodiment of that fucking promo? Just the little things that have done, like they say, has just had this expense. And it really wasn't, I wasn't trying. I wasn't really out to do it like that. It just was part of the game. But my transformation from a player to the Space Pope came when someone in-game wrote me this message. My wife and I are due to have a baby very soon. May I ask that His Holiness send our family a blessing? I was like, oh, I'm going to troll this. And then I was thinking, am I? Can I troll this? Well, what's a blessing? Who can bless? And then can I do a real blessing? Because I'm an atheist. I'm maybe the first atheist pope. Make a Wikipedia entry. That's because. And I looked it up and I researched it and I went all kinds of places to figure out. And you know what? We're either angels or demons in this heaven right now. And you all have the power to bless or curse. I know a few witches. And it begins with kindness. And it begins with coming from the heart and telling a full one. Oh, wait a minute. I got a note. Yes, I'm here. Technical issues. I love those notes. Those are cool. It's like, that's really neat. No, how long ago did you send that? Because I was just like in my own world. Can you hear me? Okay. So that's the key. The answer is yes. We all have that ability within this life right now to be kind or to be evil, to do that. And that led me to create the Sixth Empire with my friend Fairy Red. And our motto is stay alive so we can kill you in game. Don't commit suicide, just stay with us because we lost so many people. And the story of the Sixth Empire is an entire hour-long presentation of the members themselves and things that's happened in there. So I'm not going to go too much into the Sixth Empire because then I'll really cry. But then people started saying, will you marry us? And it was their love that became Benny and Una, Chris and Ivy, John and Bonnie from Burning Man, actually, and Holgar and Anna, and about 4 others that I've done the ceremony for. So there was Benny and Una. Was in Las Vegas, got married, and it was quite informal. We just went out and did it. And I can actually legally do it in a couple of states. So there you go. The big one, which CCP actually made a video, so if you type EVEOnline wedding, you will see Holger and Anna's wedding there, and all the Amarians of the Sixth Empire were there for that as well, so that was kind of cool. And then this was Burning Man. So now I'm in the world of crossover, because I crossed over from Eve to Burning Man, and then I tried to keep an air gap at work. I didn't let anybody know as like a Pope or an Eve player until I got a job as a knowledge manager. And my boss, David Oberhedinger, said, I'd like to introduce to you our newest employee, a senior knowledge analyst. And on his slide projector, he says, who, by the way, is the Pope of New Eden. You son of a... yeah, then that happened. And then one of the most fun, fantastic Elvis weddings ever was Chris and Ivy. Look at their last name. They legally changed their name at the wedding to Chris and Ivy Singularity after me. How do I deal with this emotionally? This is amazing. My family's growing, so if you want to join my family, applications are available. And again, how do I deal a little more serious with permanent transformations like these? These are 5 people who associated with the Sixth Empire Alliance, including Sancta, who is basically a Sixth Empire nun. You saw her picture earlier. And she spent a week at Chernobyl. And so she has a Ukrainian gas mask to pay tribute to the lives that were spent saving our lives. And the Sixth Empire nun. That piece of tattoo is artwork. It is detailed, like incredible. And then Matt Kramer, that's huge. And I mean, that's huge. Matt has told me if it wasn't for the Sixth Empire and the friendships, he would have been gone multiple times, that he owes his life to us. And so that was his way of saying, I am the Sixth Empire. And then there is Eric, who has it as well. And then Rhiannon, the co-founder of Sixth Empire, she has 2 of my logos. The first logo is the peg. You have 6 pegs in every starship. That's how it can move. And that is subspace energy coming in, and that's your capacitor going out. And so it's unlimited energy. That's why it comes in slow, goes out fast. But she also has a semicolon, because what I've covered up in here is one of the suicide scars that she cut. And there's like 3 different scars on her that she attempted suicide. And the semicolon means like a sentence that didn't finish. She's not done. And so that's the semicolon there. And then my alliance leader right now, she had a temporary tattoo, and she put it on her butt, and then she went to the tattoo parlor and said, fill it in. So getting her to show it, you have to give her about 4 or 5 drinks. Yeah. And then she'll show it to you. So it's you. It's all of you. This was at EVE Berlin, and there I am right smack dab in the middle of all of you hanging out. Because it's not just a game, it transforms us. And I'm only talking about 4 stories. And it's actually endless. Because people come to me all the time and says, oh yeah, I did this and I did that, and this person did this for me and did that. It's all of you transforming each other. When pixels become a change in your life, can we just call it a game? And we have made a difference with EVEOnline charities as well. We've given over $1.2 million for earthquakes, fires, COVID, wars, typhoons, monsoons. That's your generosity. When you bought one of those, the passes, the pilot passes, we raised money for Able Gamers and other charities. That's everyone wearing those passes, whether you paid or not, that's all part of our generosity that we all pull together. So I didn't choose this, but literally, I stand before you humble. And yes, I will always take a selfie with you. This year, I'm doing a thing. We must touch heads, and you have to post it on Twitter because I want to flood Twitter this year of Pope photos. So thank you very much. I think EVEOnline transforms real lives. Thank you. I usually like to put so many slides in, I end so there's no time for questions, but it looks like I have a couple minutes of questions. So can I ask both of you to come join me for a second? And if anybody has some questions, I have some silly answers. Yes?
Did your boss know you played Eve? Did he play Eve? Your boss
yeah, did my boss know I played Eve? No, I told him in confidence at a lunchtime Chinese dinner, and then because he was the chief knowledge officer, that's a boo-boo because he knows how to do internet research and all that stuff too. So yeah, that was quite a surprise to me when he outed me. So it was kind of cool. Yes?
I have a question to you both. Is you going to say something to all the people that have the same problems as you? What you're going to say to them personally, to other people that are listening now, and know people that have problems in the same way?
Yeah. Do you have anything that you can tell other people that may have other issues related to this?
Don't let it stop you. Just keep going. The minute you quit, it's over. So just keep pushing.
Cool. Yes.
Maybe quite the confusing question, but the whole Max Singularity thing started as a role-play joke, but how far has it really integrated with you as a person? How different are Charles White or Max Singularity?
That's actually a very good question. You can hold. Profoundly. It shifted my not serious about the world at all to focus on kindness. It shifted it to humility, because it was like I watched other EVE players who became EVE famous, and I watched them crash in flames. And I know that one misstep I make, you all take that hat away from me. And I know that. And so it caused me to be much more grateful, thankful, and I can say every waking moment, I have positive feelings about it. And when I'm asleep, I have some nightmares about it. But yeah, no, thank you for that question, because it has, That's why I came up with this talk. My dad told me there's two types of people you have to listen to. Someone that has to say something, and they're boring as fuck, and then someone who has something to say. Be that guy. I was like, thanks, Dad.
Also, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
The following 2 days, may I interview you whenever you have some free time at Fanfest?
Yes, I have 6 press interviews. Contact Anita, and she'll line you up with His Holiness.
I'll ask around and try to understand what that means.
I can't see lights. Well, thank you, everyone, so much. It is literally our pleasure. Thank you for living. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do for the community, Rex. Have a great Fanfest, everybody.